Under SOX 404B, what happens when a control fails in Q3? What are your options? This is Kim Lay with A2Q2, and in this video, I share with you some of the ways that you can fix it and hopefully pass your SOX compliance with no material weakness. So in this case, I have a full year starting with April, ending with March, because that's the typical time frame that we would do SOX testing. In April, we do planning. In May, we do updates of any of our documentation, whether that's flowcharts or narratives. Then in June, we have our walkthrough. That's our test of design. That's assessing design effectiveness. And in this case, we pass with flying colors. Then come around August timeframe, we are testing Q2 activity. So that's activity from January through June. And in this case, no issues. We've also passed that. Now we're in the late October, November timeframe. We are testing Q3 activity. So we're literally in the last part of the year. We're testing activity from July through September, which is assuming you're a calendar year end, your Q3 activity. If one of your controls, let's say in this case, a transactional control, has failed during this period. It passed Q2, but now in Q3, something's going on. If it's a transactional control, you still have time to remediate because transactional controls are happening regularly, every day, every other day. There will be enough time for you to remediate, but you have to put that remediation in place immediately in November and throughout December so that you can make sure that's happening. If your control is a quarterly control and it failed in Q3, unfortunately, there is nothing that you can do to fix it. You can fix the quarter. The last quarter that you have to fix is going to be Q4, but that's only one sample. When it's a quarterly control, the minimum number of times, because quarterly means 4 times. So even if you've got Q1, it was a good quarter, Q2 was a good quarter, Q3, when it fails, the only quarter you have left now to fix is Q4, and even if Q4 is effective, your external auditors will say, that's great, but we cannot test and opine or give the opinion that that is fully remediated. Auditors need 2 quarters. So again, if it's a quarterly control, you're hosed. If it's an annual control, if something only happened once a year and you fail that, annual is you have no options. You have failed that. Now, if it is transactional or if it's potentially a weekly control, there are enough samples. Assuming that you are able to put a fix in place in November, you now, daily controls, transactional controls, you have enough samples that you can test during Q4 or put the control in place. Those activities are happening in Q4, then in the January-February timeframe, you can now test that activity and prove that you've remediated it. So the bottom line is, in Q3, if you've discovered you failed an annual control or if you failed a quarterly control, you are stuck with that deficiency. And at the end of the year, what we're assessing at the end that you can see here is it a deficiency? Is it a significant deficiency or a material weakness? So that's why it's so important to do testing earlier in Q2. Make sure you get solid samples in Q3, solid results in Q3, and it's only transactional controls, configurations, computer type of controls can be put in place remediated because those happen immediately. And we only need 1 sample for computer type of controls. So hopefully this is helpful and answers your question, and tune in for the next video if you're interested in what happens when you fail a control in Q4. Have a great day. Bye-bye.